Hey guys, it's Coach Harrison with the North Star Referee Program. So today we're just going to be reviewing laws of the game 1 through 4. So a few quick notes before we get started. One, these laws are probably the laws of the game that most referees look back on the least, simply because they generally don't have as much to do with active gameplay. They're kind of more technical rules. That said, they are very important. It's important that you understand them all. Now, point 2. This overview I'm doing today is geared towards preparing you for a recreational level of play. I'm not covering the laws in detail, and there are things that I'm just kind of skipping over because they would be confusing to you at a recreational level of play. All right? Particularly at an intramural level of play with North Star. So, that said, as you progress in your journey as referees, you will need to go back and study all of these laws yourself, just as you will need to go back and study all laws of the game yourself continuously throughout your time as a referee. Okay? So let's get started. Law 1, the field of play. Alright, so here are our key elements. The field of play should be a rectangle created with the continuous lines from a safe marking material. Generally, this is paint. That's pretty much all you're going to see, but in theory, people could use something else to mark it. Okay. All lines must be of the same width. This is something that isn't always exactly followed. Players may not make unauthorized marks in the field, so that means a player shouldn't be intentionally scuffing up the ground to make a mark. That's not allowed. Okay. Flags must be at least 5 feet tall with a non-pointed top. All right. This is just kind of a common sense thing. We don't need anyone tripping and stabbing themselves with the flag. All right. Goals should be placed on the center of each goal line. Okay. So that just means if the field of play has all lines have the same width, you just place it right there in the center of it. Okay. All goals must be anchored. This is really important. Before a game starts, this is a safety thing. Your goal must be anchored. How it is anchored does not matter. I've used tires, whatever. But that is important, and that is up to the home team to do. You don't need to be running around carrying cinder blocks or something. You tell them, hey, coach, I need you to fix this before the game gets started, and they should take care of it. With North Star, just sort of remind, if you notice that it's not being done, just remind whoever the site administrator is for the day that we need to have a way to anchor the goal. Okay. And real point before we get to laying out the field of play here. Besides the anchoring of the goals, pretty much any issues with the field of play are something that you make a note of and you file a report for. You don't stop the game because we're missing a line or because we don't have corner flags. You just go, okay, that's not correct. Make a note, move on. All right. So our in and out on the side, we call this the touch line, okay? Then over here, the goal line. That's the line on which the goal was laid, okay? Penalty area, that's the 18-yard box. Goal area, that's 6-yard box. Penalty arc, okay? That is 10 yards out from the penalty mark. Penalty mark is 12 yards out from the goal line. Or if you're in a hurry and there's no penalty mark on the field and you need to place a penalty kick, take 6 big steps from the top of the goal box, all right? Because that should be about 6 yards. Okay. This is the halfway line. This is our center circle, and that should be a 10-yard circle. That might vary a little bit on a smaller field. Okay. Law 2, the ball. So the ball must be spherical in shape. That just means it's got to be a ball, right? Can't be a football. It's got to be a spherical ball. Ball should be the correct size for the age using them. So over here you'll see there's a size chart. Okay? Just make sure that you know what the different sizes are and make sure that they are using the correct size. If a ball doesn't say what size it is, it usually means it's not regulation and it probably shouldn't be used for the game. If play is stopped for a defective ball, it should be restarted with a drop ball. All right, defective ball, That just means so if like the ball burst or something and you stop it, then just restart with the drop ball. If the ball becomes defective at a restart, the restart is retaken. So let's say that you have a corner kick and the ball is kicked, and immediately, like as it's kicked, it goes flat. Like it punctures, it bursts, a piece of it comes flying off, something happens, the ball is clearly defective. You retake that kick, okay? It's not a drop ball, you retake the kick. Law 3, the players. All right, games are played with a maximum of 11 players on the field. 11 players for each team, sorry. Minimum number of players might vary for competitions. Always check competition guidelines. Okay, so right over here, we've got our different ages. These are based off of Alabama Soccer Association's website. And in the case of our U8 and U10, this is based off of how North Star handles it, okay? So you want to make sure you always check the competition guidelines because that does vary depending on what competition you're in. North Star, though, this is what it'll always look like. U8, 5v5, U10, 7v7, and U12 is going to be 9v9 forever. That's a pretty cemented thing. U13 up will always be 11v11. Down here, we have our minimum number of players, okay? Once again, double check your competition guidelines, but when you're doing games for North Star, these are our minimum number of players that have to be on the field for each team. All right. Substitutes may only enter during a stoppage of play. A stoppage of play is any time where you have signaled that play is stopped, okay? So if you blow your whistle, play is stopped, right? Now remember, teams have the ability to take a quick kick, right? So if you call a foul and the red team picks up the ball, puts it down, and wants to kick it, they can kick it, okay? So don't wave a sub on there unless you have clearly indicated you're stopping play. So blow your whistle, indicate that play is stopped, then you can call a sub on if you so choose. That's up to your discretion, all right? Referee should always be notified when the goalkeeper is being changed, and it should be done during a stoppage of play, okay? Players in the middle of the game, while the ball is being kicked around, players can't just run up to the goalkeeper and go, hey, let's swap, all right? That's not allowed. The referee has to be told, it has to be when play has been stopped. So, red cards. We're not going to deal with this in intramural, but if a player is sent off, red card, after the start of the match, the affected team may not replace that player. That just means if the game has started and someone's given a red card, well, if they're playing 11v11, it's now going to be 11v10, all right? Now, if a red card is given for something before the match starts, say for some reason a player walks up to the referee during check-in and cusses them out, and they get a red card, that will not affect the number of players in the field. The team can still have 11 players in the field, but that player will not be allowed to play that match. All right. Player's equipment. Key elements. A player must not use equipment or wear anything that is dangerous. So that's going to be up to you and your discretion. Okay. Anything that is dangerous. All jewelry must be removed prior to the start of the match. Using tape to cover them is not permitted. This really just pertains to earrings. We don't use tape to cover earrings. Parents, coaches, they're going to try to convince you that they can. That's normal. I've had coaches who have been doing soccer for years who come up to me and say, hey, can I put tape on there? They know they can't. They're just trying to see if they can get away with it. All right? That is specifically not allowed under the laws of the game. Earrings have to come out. Okay? Players are required to wear a shirt with sleeves, shorts, socks, shin guards, and footwear. Okay? Shin guards can be whatever size the players want. It's up to them to decide what's safe for them. If they want to wear a shin guard that's the size of their finger, they can do that. It's not a good idea, but they can do it. The two teams should wear colors that distinguish them from each other. Teams can't be wearing the same thing. If one team's wearing the same color and we can't tell them apart, someone's got to go put on pennies or something, okay? Goalkeeper must wear colors that distinguish them from the other players and officials, okay? Goalkeeper can't be wearing the same color as the other players, and they shouldn't be wearing the same color as you because then it could be confusing, okay? And that's all. Real important note. So, like I said, this is just an overview. Doesn't cover everything. And the laws of competition vary depending on what league you are refereeing in. So, as you move on, remember the North Star Intramural League rules are not going to be the same as Alabama soccer rules. Okay, so you have to learn to read your competition rules and stay up to date. All right, thanks, guys.